Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Maria, and I'm a program assistant with the BC Brain Wellness Program, and I'm very excited to be hosting today's Wellness Wednesday session. I would like to welcome you all to today's session as it is the first Wellness Wednesday of the season, Fall into Self-Care with Goal Setting. Today we'll be looking into ways to explore mindfulness and goal setting into your life for self-care and brain wellness. We have two very special speakers today, Amanda and Elaine, who are part of our very own BC Brain Wellness Program. Before we get started, I would first like to acknowledge that the BC Brain Wellness Program at the Dejavid Moafakian Brain Center for Brain Health is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Hunkaminam-speaking Musqueam peoples. I'm also joining from UBC and would like to invite you all to take a moment to acknowledge the land that you are joining us from today. I also just wanted to point out a few housekeeping items to keep in mind throughout today's session. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat box, and we will get around to them during our Q&A session. Please note that we are recording today's session and will be uploading it to our YouTube channel. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Amanda Cammalleri, who will be guiding us through a mindfulness session to get us prepared for goal setting. Amanda Cammalleri is a research assistant in Dr. Silky Appel Creswell's lab and is planning to start her PhD in January. She graduated from McGill University in 2017 with a major in psychology and a minors in molecular biology and behavioral sciences. After completing her degree, she worked as a technical research assistant in a focused ultrasound lab at Brigham and Women's Hospital. In 2021, Amanda completed her master's degree in health, kinesiology, and applied physiology at Concordia University. Outside of her academic career, Amanda privately teaches mindfulness and meditation as a certified IMMA instructor and has had the experience of facilitating vision and goal seminars. And without further ado, I'll be passing it on to Amanda.
Thanks for the lovely introduction, and thank you all for being here today and sharing this with us. My name is Amanda. I am a research assistant at the BC Brain Wellness Center, and today I'll be starting the session off by guiding you through a meditation to help recognize qualities within yourself to then create your goals from later on. With this meditation, I think it's important to say it may not resonate with everyone. It may not be easy to follow at all times. You may lose focus here and there, but that's natural, that's normal. Just be aware when you lose focus, be aware of what is coming up, and accept that it's okay. The best thing you could possibly do for yourself is just being here and just listening along and trying. So there's no goal to reach with this. This is just you being here, doing your best by being present with us. So I'll start this meditation off with what we call a body scan exercise. A body scan is when we focus on individual parts of the body at a time to kind of ease into things, feel more calm and centered, and just start our focus journey. And then I'll take more of a visual turn with this meditation. So when you're ready, I invite you to take a comfortable seated position with your feet firmly planted on the floor, whatever feels good for you right now. Maybe silence your phones. Just get yourself comfortable. And when you're ready, one more thing. As I teach the meditation, I've been told that my voice gets a little bit more quiet. So you may want to turn up the volume on your computer slightly, just so that you'll be able to hear as we go along. And when you're all ready, you can close your eyes and we'll begin. We'll start with a few deep inhales and exhales here. In through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. And with each breath in here, I invite you to notice the breath as it enters the nostrils, as it moves through the body. With each breath out, just release any tension you may be holding. Release the breath. And just breathe at your own pace, whatever feels right for you. The body knows how to breathe. You're just here to observe it. With each inhale, feel the stomach expand, maybe the chest expand. And as you exhale, release any tension you may be holding, your shoulders, your face, your eyebrows. Just release. Inhale awareness of the breath and the movement of it. And exhale, releasing any tension and also any thoughts that will no longer serve you through today's practice. You're here now. You're present with me on this journey. I invite you to take a few inhales and exhales here without my cues, just to focus on the breath as it moves. With each inhale, awareness of the breath, and with each exhale, more tension leaves. And if you lose focus on the breath, that's okay. Just bring your focus back to the breath with a smile. A few more breaths here. Maybe you notice the temperature of the air as it flows through the nostrils, the temperature of the air as it leaves the body. And on your next breath, I invite you to focus your attention on all of your toes, from your big toes all the way to your little toes, without the need to move the toes or adjust anything. Just be aware of them. Just notice these little parts of your body that help you every day. Be aware of any pressure in the toes, any heaviness. And I invite you to move your awareness up the foot, the arch of the foot, the top of the foot, on both feet. Notice any tingling you may be feeling, any pressure, any sensations in these parts of your feet. And you can move your attention up to your heels. Notice any prickling, any pressure. Maybe your heel is on the floor. Notice where it's hitting the floor, how that feels. And shift your focus to the entirety of your feet, both feet, taking up space, planted, rested. I now invite you to move your attention up to your ankles, the inner ankle, the outer ankle, and up to your calves, the back of the calves. Notice any tension, any pressure in this area. Just accept any tension that might be there. Release or accept it as is. And move your attention to the front of your shins. Notice the temperature of your shins. Notice any tingling, any feelings. I now invite you to move your attention and awareness up to the front of the knees, the back of the knees, and up to the quads, the thighs, the front of the quads. Notice any pressure, any muscles you may be holding on to. The back of the thighs where the hamstrings lie. Notice any tension and release or accept the tension in these areas. I now invite you to become aware of your entire leg, your right leg, from your hip bone to your toes, and your left leg from your hip bone down to your toes. Become aware of both legs and thank them for all they do for you every day, for just being there. Thank them. And you can move your awareness up to your pelvic region, your sit bones too. Notice any pressure in your sit bones. Notice where your sit bones hit the chair or cushion you're sitting on. And move your attention up your spine slowly. We'll start at the base of the spine. And as you breathe in, just breathe into the base of the spine. Breathe out, accept any tension there. And move your focus to your belly button and the part of your spine near your belly button. As you breathe in, feel your belly button expand in size. And as you breathe out, feel it contract. Breathe in awareness of this region. Breathe out, release. And if you lose focus, just move your focus up to your stomach and your breath. Breathe into your stomach. Feel expansion in this area. Notice the middle back with the stomach, torso. Notice any tension you may be holding in your stomach. And allow it to be. To exhale, allow it to be. And we move our focus up the spine to the upper back and the heart center. Spend some time here in the heart area. And as you breathe in, feel your lungs and your chest expand. Feel your heart expand. Maybe you place your hands on your heart. Maybe you don't. Just breathe into this area. And as you breathe here, focusing on your chest, I invite you to imagine a ball of glowing light in your chest where your heart is. Maybe this glowing light is a certain color, white, green, pink. Whatever comes up, just imagine this sphere of light in your chest. And with each breath in, this light shines brighter and brighter. With each breath out, the light from this sphere expands throughout your body a bit more. Breathe into this light. Maybe you imagine that this ball of light is filled with love, gratitude for this life, this experience, and acceptance for things the way they are. This ball of light, of love in your chest. Breathe into it and see it get brighter. Maybe smile a bit. And as you breathe out, feel the love from the center emanate and shine to different parts of your body. I'll give you a few breaths here to just focus on this heart center, this sphere of love and gratitude, appreciation in your heart. With each breath in, feel it brighter, and with each breath out, feel it expand at your own pace. And if you lose focus, just bring your focus back to your heart space, to your breath. Now imagine on your next exhale that this ball of light, of love in your chest is expanding so much. It's expanding love and light through your shoulders, down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. And it's expanding light from your chest, up your neck, up to your face, your eyebrows, your eyes, to the top of your head, all light from your heart. And this ball of light in your chest is spreading love and gratitude down your body, down your torso, down your legs, all the way to your toes, until your whole body is glowing with this light from your heart, this love, gratitude, acceptance. You're glowing. Every cell in your body is glowing and smiling back up at you. Now, as you imagine your body shining brightly with love from your heart region, acceptance of who you are, gratitude for your experience, you see in front of you a person or people who you love the most. A non-complicated love, just a simple love for these people, person. And you visualize yourself giving them a big hug and spreading some of that love from your body, your heart, to these people you care about. From your heart, you spread light to theirs until you're both glowing. Now, I invite you to imagine a different set of people. This time, imagine a person or people who inspire you the most. Maybe they motivate you. Maybe you look up to them, or you did at one time. Just imagine the first person or people who come to mind here. And imagine what qualities in these people, what characteristics do they hold that you admire? Just notice the first words that might come to mind. Notice any feelings that come to mind for how they inspire you. Notice any gratitude in your heart space for how these people inspire you, for their place in your life. And now, what if I told you that these words or these feelings, these characteristics people have that you look up to, are the characteristics that you have within yourself. You've had these qualities all along, and you've seen them in another. How does it feel in your heart, in your body, to know that you hold all of these characteristics that you've wanted, that you've admired? They're all in you. Just breathe here and notice any feelings that come up, any thoughts that pop into your mind. Just observe. Notice any gratitude you might be feeling in your heart or somewhere else in your body. How does it feel for you to know that you have these qualities in you, that you have everything you need to live the life you've always wanted? And it's all in you, it's all there. Just remember these words, these characteristics and qualities as we move forward. I invite you to bring your attention back to the room you're in. With your eyes shut still, just notice the walls and the space around you. Notice any stillness in the space around you. Notice movement in this space and accept whatever movement is happening around. Notice sounds. Notice your presence there, just observing. Notice my presence, the sound of my voice, guiding you along. Notice the presence of all the people listening here today, spending this time for themselves, to feel good about who they are, to feel good about their qualities. Notice all these beautiful individuals, these humans here today with us, and send a little thank you. With that, I invite you to open your eyes, maybe wiggle your fingers, toes, or move in whatever way feels comfortable or right for you. And you can come back whenever you're ready to the screen. Now that my eyes are open, I would just like to thank you all for taking that meditation with me. And I would just like to remind you, different forms of meditation will work or resonate for different people. So it's okay if you lost focus. It's okay if you couldn't imagine words or people. Maybe something else will work for you, maybe more practice, whatever it is. Just thank yourself for being here today and for taking that time, just listening and being here. Thank you. And I invite you to now just take a few moments, write down, or maybe even in the chat box if you want to share, just write down any of the words that came to mind. If anything came up, just take some notes for yourself. The qualities that mattered to you, that you looked up to and aspired to. And with that, I invite you to just remember these qualities as you move forward to the next session and allow these qualities, these characteristics that you've discovered to fuel your goals from a place of knowing you're capable and knowing how unique you are and what you have to bring to this world. Thanks.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Amanda, for this session. and for teaching us how to incorporate mindfulness into our lives for brain wellness and self-care, and for this moment of calmness. If you would like more practice with meditation and mindfulness, we do have a program. It is free, um, that you could register for. It is on mindfulness, and registration is still open. So please do feel free to register for the class. I will add the link to the chat box. Our next speaker is Elaine Book. Elaine received her bachelor's in social work from the University of Manitoba and her master's from the University of British Columbia. She has worked in the field of social work for over 30 years in a variety of community and hospital settings, working with individuals, families, and as a leader of support groups. She is currently the social worker in the Movement Disorders Clinic at the Center for Brain Health and the Pacific Parkinson's Research Center. Elaine is one of the original members of the BC Brain Wellness Program and has been a leader in its development from early days to present. She is also a member of the planning committee of the World Parkinson's Congress and a clinical instructor in neurology at UBC. Elaine will now walk us through a goal-setting session for self-care. And go for it, Elaine.
Thanks, Maria. All right. Look how smooth that went. Well, thank you, Amanda. That was just a wonderful way to start our session, and has got me into a very Zen kind of state. And now we're going to take everything that you've done for us and put it in, try to put that into practice a little bit. So, just gonna figure out how to. There we go. So my plan for today is to talk a little bit about self-management, a little bit about self-care, and how those two things factor into goal setting. Really want to help you learn about how to make goals and how to achieve your goals using the SMART goal framework. And at the same time, I'm going to identify what some challenges to goal setting might be, common challenges and some solutions, and hopefully leave everybody feeling a little bit inspired. So to start off, self-management, lots of different definitions out there, and it may mean different things to different people, but a generally accepted definition is this one: to learn several different techniques to better manage the various different situations that present in daily life. And it's really about this feeling of being empowered to take responsibility for your well-being. Self-care is an intentional and deliberate care for one's mental, physical, and emotional health through everyday practices and activities. And so there's lots of different types of self-care. There's physical self-care, which is eating well, and sleeping well, and exercising. There's emotional self-care, really taking a moment each day to check in with your emotions, and to treat yourself with the same sense of compassion, excuse me, that you would a close friend. Intellectual self-care. That's really stimulating your brain in a way that is fun for you. So you might want to visit an art museum, or write a poem, or engage in a heated debate. Perhaps do a puzzle, read a book, try a new hobby. Really, it's about stretching your mental muscles to keep them from stiffening up. Spiritual self-care really does not necessarily mean a religious practice, though it could. So some do attend religious services, but it also can be about keeping a gratitude journal, or simply doing something that makes the world a better place to be. Adventurous self-care, doing something that really kind of stretches your comfort zone and makes you feel alive. And sensory self-care, that's really indulging the five senses. So maybe that's looking at a beautiful sunset, or listening to some soothing music, lighting a candle with a calming kind of scent, Might be eating chocolate or cookies, snuggling under a warm, cozy blanket. So really just stimulating our five senses. And as individuals, we all have very different needs and we attend to our needs differently. But what's really important to remember is that self care is not selfish, it really is self preservation. And incorporating self care into your self management plan is a really good idea and will often be more successful if you are able to set some goals. So with that, I present the SMART goal setting framework. This is just one way to help you with some goal setting. And so the history on this SMART goal setting framework actually dates back to about 1981. And it was presented in a management journal. And it was in a paper that was called The Smart Way to Write Management's Goals and Objectives. And it really discussed the importance of objectives and some of the difficulty with setting them. Now, with time, this, as I said, was developed with businesses in mind, but it has become very widely known and accepted, and is an acronym that can be used in your personal life as well. So the most common words for the SMART acronym are listed there. So specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, something that's relevant, and time bound. More recently, others have added the letters ER for evaluate and adjust, and I'll talk a little bit that in a minute. But in general, setting SMART goals means that you can clarify your ideas, you can focus your efforts, and use your time and your resources productively, and really increase the chances of you achieving what you want to achieve in life. So I'm going to go a little bit more detail into each one of these. So being specific, that's your goal needs to be clear and specific. Otherwise, you won't be able to focus your efforts or even feel truly motivated to achieve it. And so when thinking about your goal, really you want to consider the 5 W questions. What is it that I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Who's going to be involved? Where is it happening? And which are the resources or which are the limits that might play into this goal? For measurable, it's important that we have measurable goals, again, so that you can track your progress and stay motivated. Assessing progress really helps you stay focused and feel the excitement of getting closer to your goal. So when thinking about your goal and thinking about it being measurable, think about questions like how much, how many, how will I know when I have accomplished this? Achievable, your goal really needs to be realistic and attainable in order for it to be successful. So it might still stretch your abilities and still remain possible. So when you want to assess whether your goal is achievable, answer questions like, how can I accomplish this goal? How realistic is this goal? So on a scale of 1 to 10, your ability to achieve this goal has to be a 7 out of 10 on the doability scale. So I'm 7 out of 10 confident that I can achieve this goal. If it's anything less than 7, you need to tweak your plan. You need to tweak the goal so that you're at least a 7 out of 10 on the doability scale. And also think about setting a goal that relies primarily on you rather than having to rely on other people for you to achieve your goal. So if at all possible, have most of that reliance on you. Relevant. So this step is about ensuring that your goal matters to you. So a relevant goal would answer yes to questions like, does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? And time bound, really every goal needs a target. So, sometimes we need to have a deadline in order to focus on and work towards something. This part of the SMART goal criteria really helps to prevent everyday tasks from taking priority over your longer term goals. So, a time bound goal will usually answer the questions like when, is it going to be today? Is it going to be this week? What part of the month? That sort of thing. So, really looking at the timing of it. And so when you use the SMART goal framework, you can create clear, attainable, meaningful goals and really help to develop motivation, develop an action plan, and also the support that you need in order to achieve them. And so the E and the R, I really like the addition of the E and the R. So it's really to evaluate and readjust. So it's, kind of saying, okay, well, what worked and what didn't work? What could work better? And then try it again. Nothing is ever carved in stone. And sometimes we just need to be creative to make things work. So, excuse me, by way of an example, I have a goal that I want to listen to more books on audiobooks. So my goal is to listen to more books on audiobooks because it's not only educational, but it's inspirational. It's something that I can do alone, and it's something that I can do on a walk. So that is my specific goal. My goal is to do it 3 times a week, so that's pretty measurable. I'll be able to keep track of that on a calendar pretty easily. Uh, Achievable, I think it's about an 8 out of 10 on my doability scale because I have a dog and I walk my dog at least once, if not twice and 3 times a day. So lots of opportunities for listening to an audiobooks. I think it's an 8 out of 10. Very relevant to me because I really feel that it's going to be exercise for my mind, for my soul, for my body, and I think it's a really worthwhile way to spend my time. I've kind of allotted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, first thing in the morning, because I know that once my day gets going, it's going to get pushed to the side. So it's going to be prioritized as one of the first things that I do in the morning. And as I said, I'm going to keep a calendar and I'm going to write down which days I actually succeed in listening to the audiobook. And after a month, I'm going to review the number of walks and opportunities that I've had to listen to it. And I may have to readjust it as a result of the weather. Rainy days may preclude me from going out for a longer walk, and I may have to shift it if it's raining in the morning and do it later in the afternoon. So that's going to kind of be my readjust. So that just kind of gives you an example of what a SMART goal framework and how it can work for you. Now, even with the best of intentions and the best plans laid out, sometimes there are challenges or barriers to setting up goals or to achieving goals. And so what are some of those challenges? Well, we all may have attitudes or beliefs or emotions that can form personal barriers that stand in the way of our success. It might be a lack of confidence. It might be some unresolved fears. It could be finding the time. That's often the biggest challenge that I hear people talking about when setting a goal is finding the time. And so here are some solutions. Really create some protected time to work on your goal setting and your goal attainment. And be intentional. So perhaps at the start of the week, look at your week ahead and carve time in order to do these things. And sometimes that might mean creating time by saying no to something else. And so always remember that when you say no to something else, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to an obligation to yourself. You want to set time aside, a kind of a reoccurring time. So it might be Tuesday morning is protected time to go for a nature walk. And sometimes when we kind of do that reoccurring event or carve specific set times, that it helps us to protect it a little bit more. Engage someone to help you keep the plan, to be your cheerleader, to keep you accountable, and also maybe even to help to ensure that this will happen. So perhaps your partner is going to say, you know what, I'm going to make dinner on Thursday nights so you can attend your mindfulness class. So engage other people in your plan. You may even want to pick a mantra or a quote that's grounding and that's inspiring, and perhaps place it on the bathroom mirror so that every morning when you get up, you see it, and in the evening when you go to bed, this messaging. You know, I'm so aware that breaking old patterns, overcoming obstacles, starting new habits is not always easy, but it can be done. So here are some more strategies to kind of ease the discomfort in making changes. Like Nike says, just do it. You know, do something different than how you've been doing it before. And if it doesn't work, try something else. And embrace that idea that there may be something positive that results from doing something differently, that from changing things up. There might be this unexpected positive result. Again, setting yourself up for success, that's that idea of the doability scale, making sure that your goal is realistic. And reward yourself. We all need incentives. We all like rewards. So, whatever that's going to mean for you. Remember really that you are in control. Look at goals that you have worked towards in the past and remind yourself of your successes. In the words of Davis Finney, every victory counts, large and small. And so with that idea that you are in control, that really is the very critical piece of the self-management philosophy. And taking action is a core skill in self-management. And so I would task each one of you to think about one thing that you've been meaning to do to take care of yourself and take that first step. Work through that SMART framework and come up with an action plan. And remember, part of that action plan is to first designate protected time to make the goal setting and then to make it happen. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for helping us learn how to make goals, how to achieve goals, and challenges and solutions in goal setting. I especially liked how you touched on the different types of self-care and how to use the SMART goal framework to achieve attainable and measurable goals. We would now like to open the floor to any questions that may have popped up throughout the session, or even if you would like to enter any goals that you set in the chat, please do feel free to type them into the chat box. As well as circling back to Amanda's session on mindfulness, you can feel free to share anything that popped up in the chat. I see there is one comment saying that 3 words that popped up during the mindfulness session was justice, kindness, and sweetness. Mm. And another comment saying that I've never heard of the ER in Smarter before. Thank you, Elaine, for that. And I agree, I also have not heard of the ER, but I really do like that addition.
I was just going to add in my reflection about during Amanda's piece was that how I found myself not being able to stay focused and bringing myself back. And I know that that's very common with people who are just trying to start something new. And so I just did, full disclosure, I was right there kind of wandering and bringing myself back, wandering and bringing myself back. It takes practice.
It is a practice for sure. But it gets easier. And I think different forms of meditation also are easier for different people. For me, I'm very visual, so a lot of mine are visual. But for some people, it's more somatic. It's more about the breathing. So yeah, it's okay. Thanks for sharing, Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else is saying that it is easier to stay committed to a goal when doing it with a group. And I completely agree. And this is actually circles back to our classes. If any of your goals relate to exercise, mindfulness, or just any of our classes, then you can definitely sign up. And it is a great source of accountability. And yeah, it's nice to have that support group and, share that common goal in a group. There is a question for you, Amanda, if you offer meditation online.
Yeah, I'm doing private sessions right now. I also have a YouTube channel called Mandatations, so feel free to follow that. But I can type my email into the chat box, and you can feel free to email me if you're interested in taking a session.
And there is another question asking if there is an ideal length of time for a meditation.
It depends. So when I started meditation, I would do 2-minute meditations, sometimes 1-minute meditations. So I would just set a timer on my phone for 1 minute and just try to just be aware of my thoughts. Now I can do longer, but some days I do 10 minutes, some days I do hours. So it really, you go with the flow of what you feel like your brain can handle and what you want, and consistency is key, but there's no ideal time.
And there's another comment that recommending the mindfulness program, BC Brain Wellness. So again, if you would like more practice and would like more opportunities to practice it, please do feel free to sign up. If there are any other questions or comments or anything that came up, please do share it in the chat box. And otherwise, we can just jump on to the next part. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating in our Q&A session. Next, I just wanted to dive into a monthly event that the BC Brain Wellness Program is actually launching. It's called the Research Seminar Series. This is an amazing event that I'm personally very excited about because we will be featuring UBC researchers to talk about the research being done on brain conditions and how that is working towards improving healthcare. Research can be a way for some people to feel more empowered in their own health and brain wellness, and which is why we want to make research feel a little bit more accessible to everyone, to make the findings that are out there that you might not know about, and help you learn more about the brain wellness related research. So our first session is happening next Wednesday, September 15th from 12 to 1 p.m. And our topic is dementia, risk factors, and artificial intelligence. You can come join us to learn more about what dementia is, how to protect your brain, and ways to even participate in research. Throughout the series, we'll actually also be highlighting ways where you can participate in studies and the opportunities that are out there. So I will add the registration link to the chat, and I highly encourage you all to sign up. And this will be a virtual event. So I've added the registration link in the chat. Please do feel free to sign up. We will be having this session on a monthly basis on the third Wednesday of each month at noon. So next, I just wanted to give a quick reminder about our fall program registration and also some new instructors that we have. So our classes are starting next Monday, September 13th, and we have 2 new exercise instructors, which you actually might already know, Gemma Tomasky and Carly Kerr. Gemma was a volunteer with the BC Brain Wellness Program, which is where some of you might recognize her from, and she has now graduated and become an instructor with our exercise classes. And Carly is also a new graduate and is running our exercise programs in Prince George. And you can register for our exercise programs on our website. Now, alongside our ongoing registration and also the research seminar series, we do have 2 upcoming events, which you will see popping up in the near future. We will have a Care Partner Preparedness course, which is a 5-week online program in November with speakers covering a variety of topics that support care partners in building skills and making connections to better meet the challenges of being a care partner. Alongside this course, the BC Brain Wellness Program is also launching an intergenerational storytelling project, which will match university students with BC Brain Wellness Program seniors to taste the experience of storytelling and of telling one's life story. This online project will run from January to March, and our registration for both the Care Partner Preparedness course as well as the Intergenerational Storytelling project will be at the end of this year or sometime in November and December. So please do keep an eye out for registration. And otherwise, that wraps up today's Wellness Wednesday session. Thank you so much, Amanda and Elaine, for showing us mindfulness and goal setting. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the week. Oh, and Elaine said that the Care Partner Preparedness course is open for registration now, so you can feel free to register for that on our website. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining.